What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If it's your first time here, my name is Ross, and in today's video, we're going over my most versatile JawJacker setup and a few tips and tricks to help you guys have more fun with these things when you're out on the ice. First thing I want to talk to you guys about is the rod itself. This is a 42-inch rod. I like mine a little bit on the longer end. When that rod snaps, it moves that line that much farther in the same amount of time. What I'm looking for in the rod is primarily 2/3 backbone. That first 2/3 of the rod is not bending very much, and that last third really has some bend to it. The reason it's important for you to check that is because this rod is stamped as an ultralight, and when you start comparing companies, a medium action Fenwick feels a lot different than a medium action Ugly Stick. It can say whatever action it wants. 2/3 backbone, the last third a lot more flex. That backwards angle on your fishing rod puts the most amount of pressure on the release hook, which means that as soon as a fish grabs your bait, it is going to explode open. Just like that. That backwards tension really helps ensure that everything is going to work properly when a fish trips the lever. All of the rods I have geared towards my JawJackers are the exact same rod. When we get into the reel, this is about the only thing that differs. This particular one, I would say, is set up for things like jumbo perch, smaller trout, things like that. If I'm going to target larger fish, then I'm going to pick my JawJacker rod up that has more of a medium-sized reel. The last thing that I like to do to my JawJacker rods, I've actually snelled on heavy Dacron. I believe I use 60 pound on that, and the reason for that is basically lifespan. And then whenever I go JawJacker fishing, I just grab my JawJacker rods and away we go. I do not like using these at all. All right, let's talk about the JawJacker itself. With that rod, I found that you can just set your JawJacker to the maximum setting. The reason that's convenient is because it allows you to set your JawJacker up the same way every time. And just like anything, when it's efficient, it goes quick. Boom, JawJacker's out, set, and just like that, you're fishing. Never set your JawJacker like this. Rig your JawJacker from the side. That will absolutely keep you from getting smacked in the face. Let's talk about the trip mechanism now. The most important thing is keeping it dry. If you get any of these moving parts wet, it's highly likely that they will freeze. We're ice fishing. And what happens when they freeze is fish comes along, pulls this down, and this never trips up. Why? It's frozen down. Keep this portion of your JawJacker dry at all costs. The best way to do that, slide it back away from the hole. It's inevitable. When you bring that fish up, he's going to be splashing. That'll instantly get that mechanism wet, and then you either have to dry it out or throw it in the garbage. Okay, last thing, bells. The best ones, in my opinion, to use for jawjacking are the clip-on ones. Clips right onto your rod. There's a few other options out there. Some of them are dangly ones. Some of them you kind of screw down to tighten on. Garbage. You'll notice that I clip the bells on down by the reel seat, right down here. And there is a reason for that. When your JawJacker goes off, it's just much more violent the farther you get out on your rod. So what I found is to extend the lifespan of your bells, I highly recommend attaching them to your rod down towards the reel seat. They're still going to make plenty of noise. See? And you'll also notice how they didn't go flying off across the ice. So to recap, a 42-inch rod with about 2/3 backbone. Dealer's choice on the reel and line. Just make sure that it's appropriate for the species that you're targeting. Try snelling on a more permanent loop. It works really good, and I've never had my line get tangled up in it. If you do designate rods to that 42-inch length, you can just go ahead and max out your JawJacker settings all the way up on the rod holder, all the way out on the boom, every time, every place. Don't forget to keep this dry and get the clip-on bells for the base of your rod. Subscribe. Woo!